Welcome everybody to my driver ratings for the Monaco Grand Prix. If you don't know, every Monday after a Grand Prix weekend, I hop on both my Twitch and YouTube stream to do my driver ratings. Now, how this works is we go in reverse finishing order of the race and talk about every driver's performances in both qualifying and the race, and we give them a rating out of 10. Now, I personally do my ratings purely off performance, so taking qualifying and race into account. Now, obviously, this weekend with it being Monaco, we're going to take qualifying majorly into account. And yeah, I think that's about it. I don't take any bias into it, so no rookie bias, no like, oh, well, this driver should be doing better bias. It's just purely based off of performance. Now, if you're watching on YouTube right now, come over to the Twitch stream because you can, in chat, vote on a poll for what you want to rate the driver. And if you're on Twitch, stick around and just type in chat what you want to vote for. So let's get into it. The first driver we have got is Pierre Gasly. Typed on the wrong PC. The poll will be up in chat now. There you go. So this is how the poll looks. You type in Twitch chat 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then that will get voted on to the poll. So pretty simple. And then after you type your rating in chat, then let me know why you voted so we can talk about it. Stroll 10 out of 10 because he finished ahead of Alonso. What's up, Rhino? I'm the stream dead. All right, let's get into it. What's up, YouTube? Feature. I haven't had one weekend do good in both fantasy and predict. It's either one or the other. Yeah, I think I'm the same, man. I think I'm the same. Yeah, but if my grandma had wheels, she'd be a bite. Yeah, true. How am I ahead of you in fantasy? I literally haven't changed my team because it sucks this year. I've ran out of money. Anyways, Fire Lily, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. All right, let's talk about it. Pierre Gasly in qualifying qualified P18. Now, obviously, I think the Alpine was genuinely probably the worst car this weekend. Is that bad to say, or I actually think they were worse than Sauber, or do you think Sauber just did better than Alpine this weekend? I don't know. I definitely feel like Alpine struggled. Either way, he outqualified his teammate by 6/10. Obviously, keep in mind, Colapinto is a rookie at Monaco, so that was probably expected. The only other driver he outqualified was Lance Stroll. Now, was Gasly one of the guys who got impeded by a red flag? I don't think he did. That was just Behrman and Stroll. So, yeah, I think that was genuinely where Gasly was going to qualify. Very disappointing qualifying at the end of the day. Then, in the race, obviously, nothing really happens in the race. So we can't really judge him too much off the race. However, he crashed into the back of Yuki. Now, his radio said, oh, it was a brake problem. We've just watched his interview, and he says he blamed Yuki for it. He said Yuki moved under braking. We went back and watched the moment. It was his fault. Yuki did nothing wrong. He just drives in the back of him and crashes. It wasn't a brake failure. It wasn't Yuki's fault. It was just Gasly being bad. So he's had a poor qualifying, and he's crashed in the back of Yuki in the race. So, for that reason, I have to give Gasly a 2. You know, obviously, 1, we reserve 1 for, like, crashing in both sessions, being way off the pace. I don't think you get... it almost can't get worse for Gasly, other than, yeah, crashing and qualifying. It was a pretty bad weekend. But what are you guys saying? Marco, thank you for the follow, dude. On the stream. Majority of you guys saying 2. Yeah, fair enough. 2 because he crashed in the race. If he didn't have a car issue, then it's a 1 or a 2. It's a 1 or a 2. Alpine car really bad this weekend. No pace. Yeah. Hard weekend. Alpine was so slow. It was slow and crashed. It was bad, but Frankie also had 0 confidence all weekend. Yeah. That's what I mean. You can at least say to Gasly did better than his teammate, but is that good at all? Algerian F1 fan. Welcome to the stream, dude. All right. End the poll there. Majority of you guys saying 2. We agree. We agree. Boom. Great way to start the ratings. All right. Moving on. Next up, we have got Fernando Alonso. The poll's up. Oh, no, it's not. The poll's up for Alonso now. Get your votes in. What do you rate Alonso's Monaco weekend out of 10? Now, obviously, we are rating performance, so not results. So, Fernando qualified second best of the rest. He was just 1 millisecond behind Hadjar. So, amazing effort. You know, if we're going to sit here and say Hadjar did an amazing job, we've also got to sit here and say Alonso did an amazing job. 1 millisecond is fucking nothing. Obviously, the argument is he could have probably outqualified Hadjar. But other than that, there's nothing more he could have done. He outqualified Ocon, which, to be honest, I guess I'm expecting him to do. But he outqualified Liam Lawson, Alex Albon, Carlos Sainz, Yuki Tsunoda in a Red Bull, George Russell, Kimi Antonelli, a lot of big names. And most importantly, he outqualified his teammate Stroll. In Q1, he outqualified Stroll by 9/10. Now, to give props to Stroll here, or not props, but to give what's the word? To defend Stroll here, you got to keep in mind, Stroll did get affected by the red flag. So who knows? Maybe Stroll could have also made it through to Q3. We'll never know. But ignoring that, Alonso did an amazing job in qualifying. Then in the race, his pace was great. Aston Martin obviously capitalized on the backing up that Liam was doing, and nothing he could do. The car broke down. And in all honesty, I think Alonso did an amazing job to even get the car through the race as much as he did, because it had problems for the whole race from the sounds of it. So if I'm being completely honest, these are performance ratings. I'm giving Alonso a 9. He smashed it in qualifying. He was on for an amazing result for the team, and at no fault of his own, did he have an issue. I'm obviously dropping 0.5 down because he probably could have out-qualified Hadja, and then obviously 0.5 in the race just because, like, again, maybe there's a world he could have had better race pace to get past Hadja, but either way, Alonso's fucking smashed it, had an amazing weekend, and it's just a shame that all his good work means nothing because of a retirement. So, good weekend, amazing quality, but again, so unlucky in the race. I think Alonso had an issue way before the DNF, and he lost a lot of time on all the straights. Yeah, exactly. On a scale of 1 to 10, I give Alonso's season a cursed out of 10. 2 for sure. How's it going, Algeria? Hello as well, Lacey. Algerian F1 fan, thank you for the follow, man. The unluckiest driver on the board. He's struggling at the moment. Wait, 7? You guys are giving Alonso a 7 and a 6? No way. You guys are just looking purely at the result. I mean, look, fair enough. Everyone does their ratings differently, but for me, it's got to be a 9. Like, purely off of performance, he qualified second of the rest of the best at Monaco and was on for an amazing result. And he had no fault of his own, man. No fault of his own. I guess you could argue, like, it's not that good because his teammate's Stroll, and we don't know where his teammate is, but, yeah, personally agree with you on the 9. 8.5 would be fair. But I'm going to stick to 9 for Alonso because, again, like I said, 0.5 for not beating Hadra in qualifying, and I guess 0.5 because maybe he could have done more in the race, but we'll never know. Anyways, moving on. Next up, we have got... Oh, what the fuck have I just opened? Oh, what have I done? Next up, we have got Kimi Antonelli. Last of the drivers who finished the race, got lapped 3 times. I mean, Aston is not that ass as it was. I think VCARB was better than Aston, to be honest, this weekend, though. If I'm being honest. I think the pecking order this weekend was Williams, VCARB, Aston, Mercedes, in terms of pace. Actually, I'd probably still put... no, Mercedes below Aston, probably. Aston and Mercedes were really close. Anyways, moving on. Kimi Antonelli. So, Kimi, in qualifying, he qualified P... Wait, I'm on the wrong screen. He qualified P15. Now, he made it through to Q2, but he crashed in Q1. So, he didn't even get a run in Q2. In Q2 as well, he was... in Q1, he was 3/10 off of Russell. So, he was down on his teammate, and he crashed, and it wasn't that good. He didn't, he out-qualified a bunch of rookies. Like, yeah, it was probably as bad as, well, I mean, he's obviously a rookie himself, but, given a Mercedes, I don't think that was a great qualifying. Again, I don't think the Mercedes was great this weekend, but I still think it was capable of not crashing in Q1, and I think it was capable of being on the edge of Q3, especially Russell saying they kind of found something towards the end of their laps. And then in the race, he finished in dead last, was lapped 3 times. Obviously, they got stuck behind the Williams. There's nothing you can really do. At the end of the day, your weekend comes down to qualifying, and because he crashed in Q1, he had no choice of, no way of making it through to Q2 or Q3, making it out of Q2. Moving up the pecking order in Q2 or making it through to Q3. So, if I'm being honest, I think it's a 2 for Antonelli this weekend. I think he showed he didn't have good qualifying pace. He crashed. In the race, he didn't really do anything. He didn't even capitalize on anything like Russell did. So I think it's a pretty shocking weekend. Again, not giving him a 1 because he didn't crash in the race. But still, almost as bad of a weekend as you can get for Antonelli. Definitely his worst weekend of the year so far. Crash pit was important. Exactly. Exact same reason why I gave Colapinto such a low rating last week. For the times he was lap 3 because he did better than Gasly. You think he did better than Gasly? I mean, Gasly didn't crash in qualifying, and and I think Gasly was in the worst car this year. But Worst car that race. Worst car that race. As a team, Merc had it terrible altogether, but Kimi had quite bad quality crashing too. 3 for the number of tires he was lapped. Crash was important. Merc showed up their strategy by not splitting strategy with both drivers. Screwed up their strategy by not splitting strategies, yeah. And also just waiting for something to happen and then nothing happening. Really bad quality, was not confident, crashed and was nowhere during the race. But Merc did not help, though. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Sup, Seth? How's it going, dude? Mercedes were absolutely nowhere and had an abysmal strategy. Difficult to grade. Yeah, it's definitely a hard one to grade, 100%. Anyways, majority of you guys saying 3. 3 and 2. 3 and 2. So we agree. All right, next up, another driver. I think this is just the typical thing in Monaco from what I remember doing driver ratings in the past seasons is the ratings kind of get better as it goes on because, you know, it all comes down to qualifying. So Yuki Tsunoda, what do you rate his weekend out of 10? Vote in the Twitch chat. So Yuki, in qualifying, he qualified P12. Now, obviously in a Red Bull. Now, I will defend Yuki a little bit here, which I don't normally do for a Red Bull second driver, unless it's Liam. Yuki was only 4 tenths off of Max in Q1. And in Q2, I mean, 6 tenths off. That's a lot. I mean, I say only 4 tenths is a lot, and I've just roasted Antonelli for 3 tenths. But I don't think that's as much as we've seen in the past between the Red Bull second drivers. My point here is that I think Max showed that the car wasn't the best this weekend. I mean, Max made a mistake on his final lap, so we don't know what time he would actually set. But, you know, P5 was the best Max could get. So I think Yuki being P12 isn't terrible for Red Bull standards, but it's not great. Especially, Red Bull should be making Q3 at the end of the day. Again, I'm not giving any bias. I'm not going to give Yuki a better rating because he did well for Red Bull standards, but that's just me talking out loud. At the end of the day, Yuki qualified P12. He got out-qualified by Carlos Sainz, Albon, Liam Lawson, Ocon, Alonso, Hadjar. He out-qualified Hulkenberg, though. Woo! And the Mercedes who crashed. At the end of the day, he didn't crash in qualifying and he benefited from it. In the race, look, I can't really blame Yuki for the race. He was the driver who decided to pit early with a fast car and was hoping to capitalize from a red flag or a safety car. We didn't get anything at all. So he took the risk. And yeah, his race is going to look worse because of that. He gets stuck in traffic and stuff like that because of it. So yeah, at the end of the day, Yuki's had a poor weekend. You know, at the end of that, it comes down to qualifying. The best he could manage was P12. But at the same time, he didn't crash. So I'm thinking like a 3.5. No crashes for him. Kept it clean, which, to be honest, I think it's a positive. I always say, like, if you're shit, I'm not saying he's shit, but, like, you know, he said he wasn't comfortable with the car this weekend. I don't care if you're shit. You just shouldn't crash. And that was what Mick Schumacher would do. He would always blame his crashes on the car. And it's like, yeah, but you know your car's poo. And Yuki clearly didn't feel comfortable with the car this weekend, but he still didn't crash, so that's a positive. Yeah. Maybe is 3.5 too high? No, 3.5 is fine, I think, for Yuki. I was going to say, I don't think Red Bull was that fast this weekend, but I'm making Q3 as rough. Red Bull second seat tax aside. Yeah, I think he could have done a lot more if not for getting stuck behind all the traffic. Yeah, above average. I literally did not see him during the race. Honestly, I forgot Yuki was racing. Yeah, he was nowhere this weekend. I feel like he's kind of been nowhere ever since Japan, to be honest. Like not on the broadcast, not really talked about much, which is funny because Perez would get shit on, Liam would get shit on, Gasly would get shit on, Albon would get shit on. And I'm not saying you should go shit on Yuki. It's just funny to me that, like, finally everyone's realized, like, oh, it's the car, and has stopped shitting on drivers. And I'm like, why have we done that for Liam, man? Why have we done that for Liam? Question, off topic slightly, but on topic. If roles were reversed, right? If Yuki is having the season he's having so far, but he started the season at Red Bull, do you think Red Bull would have swapped Liam in by now? Maybe not after 2 races, but do you think they would have gone, like, maybe after this weekend, they would have swapped Liam in by now? I guess with how Liam's doing at V-Carb, maybe they would have actually put Hadjar in the car, to be honest. But yeah, now with seeing how the season's playing out, it definitely feels like maybe it was a strategy from Red Bull to put Liam in the car first, so they could be like, well, look, if it doesn't work out, we'll have the better driver. I don't know why I'm quoting it, but the better driver in the car for the rest of the season, compared to putting Yuki in the car. He doesn't do well. Then you put Liam in the car. Then what do? You know what I mean? Yeah. No, because Liam has been useless. The only time I saw him in the race was when he was getting lapped. It's similar if he didn't have a good strategy. It's similar if he didn't have a good strategy. They would have put Hadra in maybe. Hadra would have been in the summer. Hard to say, but maybe they would have. Yeah. To be fair, I said they wouldn't have an option. Maybe they would have put Liam in after Imola, after Yuki's crashed in Imola, and then they would have put Hadra in at the summer break or something. But yeah. No to Liam, but maybe to Isaac. Right. Anyways, you guys are saying 3 on the poll. Majority saying 3 for Yuki, I should say. All right. All right, moving on. Next up, we have got Nico Hulkenberg. All right, poll is up for Nico Hulkenberg. What do you guys rate his weekend out of 10? So Nico, he qualified P13 in a Sauber. He outqualified George Russell and Kimi Antonelli. He outqualified his teammate by 1/10, or not even 1/10, 30 milliseconds. He outqualified Ollie Behrman. Obviously, Ollie didn't set a lap. Stroll didn't set a lap. We also qualified Gasly and Colapinto. I think that's a pretty good effort from Hulkenberg given the Sauber. He's 1/10 down on Yuki, who I don't think should be expected to beat. So, honestly, I think Hulkenberg's done the best he could if I'm looking at the order. I think he's done the best he could and more by out-qualifying people. So, yeah, good qualifying from Hulkenberg. And then in the race, he's finished behind Gabriel Bortoleto. Does anyone know? I doubt that's from pace. I'm assuming that's just from strategy, and the strategy was on. I guess he plays a little bit of a part in that strategy, but yeah, I know it's really hard to judge Hulkenberg's weekend because he's just like nowhere. But and his race result didn't reflect how well he probably did in qualifying. So yeah, I think it's pretty like average weekend from Hulkenberg, maybe like above average. It's hard to say. What do you guys think? Another one I can't remember seeing in the race. Good quality for Sauber, then got stuck in the Williams train. Could have done more, in my opinion. Bortoleto crashed and took an extra pit and ended up ahead somehow. Yeah, true. Yeah, I guess Bortoleto's strategy has paid out. But I guess Bortoleto's done well of being able to hold on, being able to make that work. Yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking like a 6 for Hulkenberg. Like, he's done good in qualifying. Probably the max he probably could have done in a Sauber. And the strategy's just not worked out for him in the race. But his teammates also finished ahead of him. So I'm thinking like a 6. You gotta remember he's in a Sauber at the end of the day, and we're rating his performance. Gabby's so much better this weekend. I mean, I guess Gabby wasn't too far off Hulkenberg in quali. But yeah. Anyways, I'll leave it there. Majority of you guys saying 5. I'm gonna say 6 though. I think Hulkenberg had an above average weekend for a Sauber, to be honest. It just sucks that like above average means nothing in terms of points. All right. Next up, we move on to the top 15. We've got Lance Stroll. All right, poll is up. Get your votes in. Now, for people that are tuning on in, if you're new here, all you have to do is type in Twitch chat the number you want to vote for, and it goes on the poll. If you're watching on YouTube right now, come over to the Twitch stream. That is how you can get a vote in on the poll. 6 out of 10, not bad in the car he was in, but a rule just a midweekend. I agree. What's up, Wolfgang? Lando, the World Drivers' Championship this year, you reckon? I just hope there's a fight. I just hope there's a fight at the end of the day. All right, anyways, let's talk about Lance. So, Lance, in qualifying, went out in 19th. He only out-qualified Franco. He was 9 tenths behind Alonso in qualifying. Now, to defend Stroll here, he didn't get a lap in because of the red flag, but obviously the argument is you need to get your bank lap in. So I don't think it's as bad of a qualifying as it actually looks, but still, he went out in 19th, which isn't great. And then in the race, he finished in P15, so he got ahead of Hulkenberg, Yuki, and Antonelli. But considering Alonso was running so high up, Stroll really needs to do better. So yeah, did anything happen? Stroll caused a crash in practice. Qualified P19 to P, did every top car in the race. He did do a clean overtake though. He did do a clean overtake. Oh. Ugh. Yeah. Bam, bam, bam. I don't even know. I don't even know what to rate him. Because it's kind of tough, because he kind of, like... It's kind of tough, because he, like... got impeded in that, with that qualifying. Maybe I'll rate him the same as Yuki. Is that fair? Same rating as Yuki, 3.5. Like, he didn't crash at the end of the day, so that's a dub. He did the only overtake after lap 1, excluding George / Albon chicane, if I'm not wrong. Stroll is, miles away from his teammate again, and always potential for creating a stupid accident across the whole weekend. Wait, what did he do, though? Lance did well to make up 4 position at Monaco. He could have made it to Q2 if the red flag didn't stop him from completing his lap. Yeah, you know what? I'm thinking 4 for Stroll. I don't think he did that bad. He didn't really do anything wrong. Practice crash. Yeah, I guess we're not rating practice, though. Stroll's awareness was so poor. Deduct points for that. I wonder where Nico, as a qualifying specialist in Haas that outqualified Mercedes last year, would do in a Williams. In a Williams, I'm thinking going to say a Haas there for a second. I would have loved to have seen Hulkenberg stay at Haas. Rubik, leave with the follow, dude. Ponden, do you know APT from Rose? I do. Have you heard the new F1 song from Rose? 6 out of 10, he got messed up by the red flag. Not much he could have improved on in the race because of Monaco. Yeah. I'm still going to rate Stroll low because, like, bankers. But he did get kind of, like, screwed over to the point where I'm like, maybe, yeah, I don't know. Should get an inconclusive, but, yeah. Stroll crashed with Leclerc and made him lose full P1. Yeah, true. But again, we don't really rate practices, though. Anyways, majority of you guys saying 4 out of 10. Majority of you guys saying 4 out of 10. Right. All right, next up. Actually, a weekend where we can finally talk about Gabby a little bit because he actually had stuff to talk about. Gabriel Bortoletto, type in chat what you rate out of 10. So Gabby qualified P16. Now, he did get out qualified by his teammate by 3 positions, but it was only 30 milliseconds. It was only 30 milliseconds. And if it wasn't for Antonelli being able to keep his lap, he would have qualified ahead of him. But then obviously the argument is if the red flag didn't come out, then how would have Stroll and Bamman done? Who knows? And then in the race, he managed to finish P14 after getting taken out by Antonelli. Now, I think that was a racing incident. So, you know, there is a little bit of blame on Bortoletto for the crash. In my opinion, I think both of them could have done something to avoid that crash from happening. But he managed to finish in P14, 2 positions ahead of Hulkenberg, ahead of Stroll, ahead of Tsunoda, ahead of Antonelli. Now, obviously, that is because of the strat, but he had to have the pace to make that strat work. So, I actually think Bortoletto's done okay, to be honest. What did I rate Hulkenberg? Was it 6? Because I want to give him the same rating as Hulkenberg. I think Hulkenberg had a better qualifying, but Bortoletto had maybe better race pace. It's hard to tell in Monaco. But obviously he had that mistake, so we're going to deduct a point for that. So I'm going to give him the same thing. 6? Yeah, I'll probably give him the same. I think for Sauber Sanders, they showed good performance. I think what Bortoletto and Hulkenberg showed this weekend is if they had a better car, they would have done well. So I guess you could argue, like, maybe I should rate them higher because we're rating them and not the car. But yeah, you're right. Bortoletto could have avoided it, but Anthony's lunge was opportunistic at best. Well, the opportunity paid off, right? Because he got the position. But obviously Ocon versus Hulk, but of course Behrman was always going to Haas. Yeah. Sup, Chloe or Chloe. Welcome to the stream. Also Tumbleweed, welcome to the stream as well, dude. I would love to see. Wait, I read that. We still must give credit to Stroll. Getting a seat by dad after playing F1 arcade game is pretty good. Not everyone can do that. All right. Majority of you guys saying 6 on the poll for Bortoletto. Cool. Yo, Red Eye. Thank you for the raid, dude. I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Welcome in, everyone from Red Eye stream. We're currently doing our driver ratings for the Monaco Grand Prix. We're going through, rating them out of 10. We're going in reverse finishing order. And yeah, we're rating solely the performances. So you guys can get involved. You did yours earlier. Oh, nice. Who is your driver of the weekend? I feel like there's going to be like 3 or 4 10s this weekend, which is rare, but that's the way Monaco is. You don't really get to show yourself. So if you show yourself in qualifying where it matters, you probably just end up getting a 10. Yeah, thank you for the raid, dude. We're also doing liveries as well. Lando for you, yeah. For driver of the day. Right, okay, yeah. I think it's Lando or Hadjo as driver of the day, 100%. I think Lando, obviously, because he won the race, and that's like, you know, yeah. But also, I think Had just smashed it. But we'll talk more about that when we get to them. Yeah, Sal was a shitbox. Sport did well. All right, moving on. Next up, we have got... Please do that. We've got Franco Colapinto finishing surprisingly high given his qualifier. What do you rate rate Franco Colapinto out of 10? If you're just tuning in the stream, all you need to do is type in Twitch chat the number that you want to vote for. So yeah, Hedger went backwards, so I ruled him out. Really? Yeah, Franco. So in qualifying, he qualified dead last. Absolutely zero confidence. Being out-qualified by 7/10 by his teammate. Sorry, 6/10 by his teammate. Yeah, very disappointing from Franco. But I guess you could say expected. But again, I don't take biases into it at all. So I generally think Franco was very slow, very poor. The Alpine was obviously bad. But, like, to be 6/10 off your teammate is not great. Then, in the race, he managed to finish in P13. He made the strategy work. Again, like I said with Bortoletto, you have to make the pace work. You have to have good pace to make the strategy work. And, yeah, he's done well to finish P13. At the end of the day, his teammates fucking crashed in the back of Yuki all on his own. And Franco's kept it clean to finish P13 to potentially capitalize on any penalties and stuff in front. So, yeah, for Franco to finish ahead of Bortoletto, Stroll, Hulkenberg, Yuki and Antonelli, I think he's done well. But again, I think as shown in qualifying, the pace kind of lacked. So, you know, was it more the strategy from the team or was it more him? I think it's a little bit in between. So I'm feeling like a 4 or a 4.5 for Franco this week. But what do you guys think? 5 out of 10 for Franco. He didn't crash, which isn't what I expected. Very quiet, but that's a good thing at the end of the day. Yeah, true. Ponden, the Eurovision song Espresso Macchiato was absolutely fire. Thanks for letting me know, Wolfgang. I'll have to have a listen. It's driver of the day, not the weekend. So I feel you go backwards. Yeah, true. Yeah, that's a good point, actually. That's a good point. I think the pit stop strategy helped Franco. He was very slow in quali, yeah. But at least he turned it around for the race, right? I think at the end of the day, like, actually, I'm going to give him a 4 because I think qualifying showed his pace wasn't there and he might have benefited a bit more from the race. But again, yeah, he moved up 7 positions. So he's done something. It feels harsh to give someone a 4 for moving up 7 positions, but I think we can all agree, like, it was the strategy that got him there and not his pace. And when we saw his pace, it was not great in qualifying. But still, he's getting better than the other guys who qualified low because he had the pace to actually, some pace to actually move up the grid with the strat. I guess the question is, the strategy he had, if he had better pace, could he have even finished higher? Maybe. Because Spearman did well as well. Anyways. Majority of you guys saying 4 on the poll. Alright, next up, we have got Ollie Birdman, as Davide Borsecki would say. What do you guys rate Bearman out of 10? Get your votes in chat. He didn't make the second lap in Q1 because of Antonelli, like Stroll. Oh, did he not? Colapinto. Oh, true. Actually, that's a good point. I forgot about that. I was only talking about Stroll and Bearman with that. Anyways, Bearman. Bearman, speaking of red flags, Bearman got affected by that red flag, which sucks. Qualified P17. Again, Kimi Antonelli crashing him and he couldn't get a last lap in. To be honest, Bearman wasn't looking that great this weekend. As obviously, as rookie, you lack a lot of confidence. But who knows where he would have actually finished if it wasn't for the red flag coming out. Bro, I don't know if you know. I was trying to, like, just then while I was saying those few sentences, I was trying really hard not to but I was trying so hard not to I couldn't string a single sentence together. I fucking hate umming, man. I hate umming. I can't not speak without umming. Anyways, don't forget he started P20. Yeah. So, in qualified P17. So he was, to be fair, only 1/10 off of Ocon in qualifying. So Bearman only just got knocked out, again, because of the red flag. Who knows where he would have qualified if it wasn't for that. I hate it, man. I hate it. It's okay to but I hate it, dude. I hate it. Ludwig, I watch Ludwig streams or like his like talking videos. He never ums, and it's so good. I a lot, man. I a lot. Maybe not as much as someone like Liam Lawson or Lance Stroll, but I a lot. What was I saying? Anyways, Bearman went to the back of the grid for the red flag incident, and he managed to finish in P12. So he moved up 8 positions in the race. Again, showed he had good pace, probably, again, benefited from the strategy because Colapinto also finished there as well. But yeah, it's one of those hard ones. I think he probably would have done better, needed to do a better banker lap because Ocon was able to scrape through with his banker lap. But then again, it's not entirely his fault that he ran out because of the red flag. So, yeah, I'm probably going to give Behrman like a 5.5. I think he showed he had the pace in qualifying. He just got, or he showed he could have done what Ocon did, but just didn't get the opportunity to. And I think in the race, he did amazing, moving out 8 positions. Maybe it is a 6. Maybe it is a 6. Yeah, I guess it's same as Hulkenberg and Bortoletto. Same as Hulkenberg, Bortoletto. I'll give him a 6. It's hard. It's hard to rate this little pack of guys now. Why are you pressed about Umming? He completed his final lap before the red flag. Wait, Behrman did? I don't think he did. Epic Toy, Andrew Limpy, ZX Co. Thank you guys for the follows on the stream. Anyways, we'll move on from Behrman because I don't know, kind of that awkward spot of with qualifying. Anyways, majority of you guys saying a 6. Let's move on to the next driver, which is George Russell. Ooh. What do you guys rate George Russell's weekend out of 10? So, George Russell qualified at P14. He DNF'd in qualifying. Now, it wasn't his fault that obviously the car broke down with electrical problem. Maybe he could have fought for Q3, but I think he was capping a little bit because he was doing so bad in practices. He was doing so bad in qualifying. And then he goes, I felt so good in turn 1. I really thought the lap was going to come to me. I think he was trolling, to be honest. I don't think he would have made it out of Q2 anyway. But I think it's more down to the car, if anything. The DNF wasn't his fault. In Q1, though, he outqualified his teammate by 3/10. So, I mean, that's a positive, I guess, in terms of performance. It's really hard to tell with Russell. He then finished P11. But I can't help but feel that I want to rate Russell low because of the gimmicks. I think him and Mercedes' strategy was absolutely awful. I think the way he was handling the drivers in front, going slow, was a bit embarrassing to me. And obviously copped a drive through pen. In the end, to be fair, he benefited from it. He managed to finish P11. Maybe he could have capitalized off a penalty or a crash or something if one came out. But and he finished 7 positions ahead of his teammate. But yeah, I just feel like Russell overall had a pretty weak weekend. I think it is because of the car, but I think there's also a few things he did that were disappointing. So yeah, I think I'm gonna give Russell a. Usually when I used to do my rankings, I used to have list them all out so I could compare them to the other drivers and be like, oh, that doesn't make sense. I think 3.5 sounds about right. Or does that not sound right around where Stroll is? Quality messed up the car. I messed up my car race, messed up my Ferrari strategy employed by Merck. Once they took off the flexi wing, they were poop again. I think he had the most entertaining part of the race. Quality wasn't his fault. It was the car. The pace seemed pretty good. Yeah, but I still don't think he was going to make it through to Q3, though. I just thought about how to make Monaco race better. You know how OnlyPixel said that F1 made it rain for the Hungary GP? Then F1 should just make it rain for every Monaco GP. Yeah, I mean, Russell said fly a plane over that drops water or bring out the sprinklers. And every driver can press the sprinkler button 1 time per race. Nah, 4 is more appropriate. I just feel like he couldn't do anything this weekend. He was dealt with a difficult hand, and he was given a shit strat, abused the track limits, and didn't even get points. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like 3.5. Maybe it's a bit harsh given his circumstance, but I just wasn't really happy with. And I know this has nothing to do with his performance and whatever, but it's pretty hard to rate Russell this weekend because it's hard to tell. Was it car? Was it performance? Was it him? Was it a bit of both? But yeah, I just wasn't really happy with Russell's attitude this weekend. I feel like he didn't really the car just. In the qualifying sessions, I feel like I don't know. It just sucks he broke down in qualifying, to be fair. I think it sucks in qualifying he broke down. Who knows? Maybe my rating's a bit more harsh because I feel like he wouldn't have done well, but I guess we'll never know. Just check Behrman made the line by a lot, unless I'm just completely misunderstanding. Oh, okay. Interesting. Alright, I'm just going to leave Russell at a 3.5. Yeah, 4. I guess he made the strat work and finished P11 while his teammates down in 18th. I'll go with 4. Majority of you guys saying a 3 though. All right, we move on to the top 10. We've got Carlos Sainz. What do you rate Carlos Sainz's weekend out of 10? I think I'm going to be a lot more harsh on Sainz than you guys, but let's have a look. So, Carlos Sainz, in qualifying, qualified P11. Now, I think the Williams was the best of the rest this weekend. They came into the weekend saying this isn't going to be a strong track for them, but throughout practice, they look quick. Throughout qualifying, they look quick. And Carlos Sainz went out in Q2. He got out-qualified by his teammate by 6/10. So he had a bad qualifying. Look, he was a bit stitched up being put on the medium tires in qualifying. But I also am kind of like, well, you have a say. You're the one that has driven the tires. So he also has a say in what, going out on those mediums. He obviously out-qualified Yuki, but other than that, he got out-qualified by his teammate by 6/10. He got out-qualified by Liam. He got out-qualified by Ocon. Got out-qualified by Alonso. Got out-qualified by Hadja. Look, it's not terrible from Sainz, but I think given where that car should have been, I don't think that's a great qualifying from him. And then in the race, the only reason he got points was because of Alonso's DNF. I think he's done a good job with Albon to make the strat work, to help them get a P9 and a P10, so props to him for that. But I think his pace overall lacked in qualifying, and his pace overall lacked in the race comparison to Albon. So, yeah, for that reason, I think I'm going to give him a 5. I think it was an average weekend for Sainz. I think, yeah, he let himself down in qualifying, but again, there's a reason for that. And I think in the race, there's nothing he can do. So I can't really give him more than a 5. Okay, I thought you guys were going to give him like 6 and 7s and shit. Did they run out of softs or something? Because Albon ended up with meds for Q3 as well. Yeah, but then he went out on softs. His banker lap was on mediums. So they decided to use Sainz, put Sainz on the banker. They decided to put Sainz on the mediums to make it out of Q2. So he would have more softs than Q3, but then that clearly didn't work. Follow the leader GP review. Damn, what's up? It's Wonder. I bet he could have gone faster, but messed up his Q2. Yeah, but look, that's what happens if you fuck up your lap in Monaco, and it means you don't have another chance. You've got to be rated harshly for that. I think. I think it's a below average week considering what he has done to the team. 6. Yeah, so it's a weird one to rate. I'm going to say a 5. Because he got points, but I think he could have done a lot better. Majority of you guys saying 5 as well. All right, we move on to Alex Albon. All right, what do you rate Alex Albon's weekend out of 10? Get your votes in. How can I vote? You come over to the Twitch stream, Op Joe. If you come over to Twitch, and then all you have to do is type in Twitch chat what you rate out of 10. Oh, the back. All right, anyways, Alex Albon. So in quali, Albon qualified P10. Again, I think he should have done better than this. I think he should have out-qualified Liam, Ocon, Alonso, and Hadja. That's the expectation. He wasn't even close. He was 3/10 off of Hadja. Williams were doing some fucky strategy with him. But again, like I said with Sainz, I think he should be the one forcing, like, guys, we need to be on this tire because he's the ones that's driving on that tire. So I think he could have done better. He has done better than his teammate in terms of pace, though. And in the race, they managed to secure a P9 given the position they were in. He helped his teammate really, really nicely. So yeah, I've given Sainz a 5. I'm going to give Albon a 6.5. I think the extra 1.5 is because he... better quality pace, better race pace, and I mean, obviously finished ahead. So yeah, 6.5 for Albon. I think again for Williams' standards, I think they should have finished higher. They should have finished way higher given their car. Not a good quality for Alex. Weird strategy in Q3. Same as Carlos, but +1 for getting Q3. When the softs were clearly better. Weird strategy in Q3, yeah. I don't think there's much more to talk about Albon. I guess we kind of spoke about everything about with Sainz. Was a very similar weekend for both of them. So, yeah. But I think Albon looked way better performance-wise. Majority of you guys saying 6 as well for Albon. All right, we move on. My boy, finally, he's done something. Liam Lawson, what do you rate his weekend out of 10? Vote on the poll. Now, Liam's an interesting one, right? Because similar to the Williams boys, I think Hadja kind of set the expectation of where the car could be. And Liam, unfortunately, in qualifying was 2/10 off his teammate. The thing that sucks about Liam, and this is just me talking as a fan of Liam, is practice he was better than Hadja. the whole of qualifying is better than Hadja, but the lap where it mattered, he just couldn't string it together for some reason, and Hadja did. Is that a confidence thing? Was that just a one-off? Who knows? So Liam definitely had room to improve in qualifying. 2/10 off his teammate, out-qualified by Ocon and Alonso. At the end of the day, it's a great qualifying from Liam to be P9, but given the Williams through and where Hadja was, it should have been better. So I'd say an above average, a decent, good qualifying for Liam. And then in the race, amazing strategy, amazing teamwork. He did exactly what he needed to do. I think I think some people underestimate how hard it is to drive that slowly. Yes, it's Monaco and it's hard to overtake, but you know, he said it, Albon said it, and Sainz said it. Driving at that pace is really hard to do. And I think he's nailed the strategy perfectly for the team. And I guess it doesn't really come down to performance. It's more just like teamwork. Like, I think he's done an awesome job to help himself and Hadja get some amazing points. And then when it was his time to push, he did. And he managed to finish in P8. Like the fact that he's helped Hadja and not... I generally think... I'm going to be honest. I generally think the strategy was for Liam to throw away his race for Hadja. And I think in their mind it was, okay, Hadja can finish P6 at worst here, but he could also maybe get a P5. But also if there's a red flag or a safety car, he could finish even higher. And they were just going to throw away Liam's race. So the fact that Liam was able to hang on with his pace and I guess with nothing happening, it was great that he was able to get P8. Obviously, yeah, he benefited from Alonso retiring, so it would have been a P9, but still. I think Liam's had a great weekend. I think it's his best weekend so far this year. This is kind of the form that I want to see from Liam, or I know of Liam. But I still think it could be better. So for that reason, I think I'm going to give him a 8. I'm going to give him an 8. Obviously, knocking 1 point off for quali. Probably, to be honest, I'm probably knocking 1.5 off for quali. And then 0.5 for the race just because, like, yeah, you know, like, yeah. But I think it mainly comes down to quali at the end of the day, you know. 2/10 off your teammate, out-qualified by 2 different people as well. Could have done better. Could have done better. Ren and Working Killer. Thank you guys for the follows. Welcome to the stream. Anyways, what are you guys saying about Liam? 8 because Hadja got to P6, but 9 isn't bad. Yeah, we have some troll voters here, I see. What, people voting... Wait, voting what? What were the trolls? His quality could have been better, but he did fantastic in the race. He played the team game. It wasn't good to watch, but it secured them double points. Faster weekend, should have had better quality, but overall strong weekend. He perfected the strategy they gave him. First time he's actually been great help for the Racing Bulls. Best weekend for Liam this year. Awesome quality. And he did good in the race to help Isaac and not screw himself over. What rating did Alonso get? Gave him a 9. Gave Alonso a 9. Worth noting, he finished within 2 seconds of Hadja after all the stalling he did. Yeah, exactly. But then again, I think Hadja was backing up purposely to help Liam there. To try give him a go on Ocon. As much as it pains me to, 8. The strategy made to throw his race, not really. Basically, qualifying in Monaco is what matters. And even when the strategy finishes 1 spot above his qualifying spot, I think it's a really good result, yeah. He influenced the race a lot. Played the teammate game well. Hopefully, it will be up from here with him now. Yeah, hopefully he's going to have some nice confidence now coming to Spain. Yeah. Anyways, majority of you guys saying 8 on the poll. We agree on Liam's rating. Woo! All right. Next up, we have got Esteban Ocon. Get your votes in on the poll. What do you rate Ocon's weekend out of 10? Amazing. Amazing from Ocon. Qualifying P8. I did not expect the Haas to be making Q3 at all. And he made it all the way through to Q3. He out-qualified his teammate. Now, look, I've just obviously found out that Behrman did actually make the line. So that makes Ocon's qualifying even better. He out-qualified Behrman by 1/10. So Ocon was, I guess, lucky that he was the one that made it through and Behrman didn't. But still, he was the one that set that lap and was better than Behrman. But then he was able to make it through to Q3. You know, obviously the Mercedes had their issues. Yuki and Sainz weren't great. And then not only did he make it through to Q3, but then he out-qualified Albon and Liam. So we could sit here and be like, oh, he's scraped through every session. But that was enough to qualify P8 in a Haas. And only 19 milliseconds off of Isaac Hadja. 19 milliseconds off of best of the rest of the weekend. So I think that's phenomenal for a Haas. When you've got Williams looking good, V-Carb looking good, and Aston Martin looking good. Obviously, Mercedes, like there's no world Ocon should be in P8. So amazing qualifying from him. And then in the race, he's done an amazing job. Now, obviously, he's been helped by Liam backing up the pack. I do feel like Haas were a bit weird in not pitting him earlier to maybe have a run at Hedger or to just like benefit more from Liam's thing, but it didn't matter in the end. He still finished P7. Honestly, I think Ocon's had a phenomenal weekend. I'm trying to sit here and think, what could have he done better? Like maybe there's an argument he could have tried a little bit harder and got a 19 milliseconds better and outqualified Alonso and Hadjar. You know, I save 10s for perfect weekends, but I feel like he's been exceptional. The only time I give someone a 10 when they're not perfect is when they exceed expectations. But then again, I'm not saying Ocon wasn't perfect. It's just more like he scraped through every session. But then he's been exceptional this weekend in the Haas. So I'm giving Ocon a 10. I think he smashed it. I think he's absolutely smashed it. What do you guys think, though? Ocon is in the top 3 drivers this weekend. Ocon, Hadjar, and Norris. I agree. Alonso 9 with DNF is correct in my opinion, but feels weird. High, either 9 or 8 maximized. Plays the teammate game well. Mind-rated GOAT. Anyone think Hulkenberg would have qualified more ahead than P8 and a Haas? Maybe. Sup, Trizzy, welcome to the stream. What an amazing weekend for Ocon. Didn't know that the gap to Isaac, 98.5, honestly. I didn't have a teammate to help him, like V-Cub or Williams. Yeah, exactly. Can I change my vote from 8 to 10? No, you can't now, fortunately. On some weekends, he's slow, but on other weekends, he shows how good he can be. He makes the Haas car look great. Yeah, I think it's 10, actually. 6 and a Haas. You're joking. He couldn't do better. Yeah, Ocon really surprised all of us with such a performance. You convinced me it's a 10. 10 if he is the best of the race. I've seen it at Haas before. They have these peak weekends sometimes, yeah. Sizzy Monks, thank you for the follow, dude. I hope Audi is good. I want Nico to get a podium, yeah. First time catching you live. I appreciate you tuning in. Yeah, I'm going to keep it as a 10 for Ocon. Part of me could be like, 9.5 because he could have edged Alonso and Hadjar in qualifying, but like, I don't think, I think, yes, as close as 19 milliseconds is, I don't think he should have been that close to them, to be honest. So, yeah, I'm going to give Ocon a 10. All right. Majority of you guys saying 9. All right, next up. My driver of the weekend, and he's a fucking rookie. Isaac Hadjar. What do you rate Hadjar's weekend out of 10? I mean, I feel like this is a pretty obvious one. I don't even need to talk about it. Isaac Hadjar qualified P6 in a V-Carb. Now, look, I knew the V-Carb was good. You know, you saw my predictions this weekend. I said V-Carb were going to out-qualify Mercedes, and I was right. But did I expect them to out-qualify Williams? No. Did I expect them to be somewhat close to Max because Max made a mistake? No. Yeah, Hadjar did fucking amazing. P6, best of the rest. He outqualified Alonso by 1 millisecond. He outqualified Ocon by 19 milliseconds, and he outqualified his teammate by 0.2. He's outqualified Albon, Sainz, Yuki Tsunoda, George Russell, Kimi Antonelli. Amazing qualifying from Hadjar. And then in the race, you know, some will argue, he only did well because Liam helped him, but you know, that's the strat. He put himself in that position to where he can get a great result, and he played the team game perfectly. Even at the end, holding up Ocon to try give Liam a chance at Ocon. Yeah, literally flawless, did nothing wrong. 10 for Hadjar, smashed it. I mean, I think this is the usual for Monaco, right? Is there's a big discrepancy in ratings. You've got, oh, you sucked in qualifying, there's nothing you can do, low rating. And then there's the people who are like, well, they didn't really have much, you know, you can't really like, you can't really sit here and not give Hadjar a 10 when, or Ocon a 10 when there's no opportunity in the race too. So it's just the way it is. There's a lot of 10s handed out in Monaco if you deliver. Compared to a normal race where it would be like, oh, well, the gap's really big or this, that, and the other. So, yeah. Bro, stop it with edging. It's a great word, man. It's a great word. What camera are you using? It looks great, lad. It's overkill for streaming. It's the Sony a7 IV, but I already had it, so yeah. Sony a7 IV with a really nice lens. Ponden, your facial hair low-key reminded me of Hamilton. Thank you, I guess. I haven't really like trimmed it back. Well, like I've been preferring it longer lately, so this week I didn't trim it this week. I trimmed this, but I didn't like trim the length of it, if that makes sense. So Looking a bit more raggedy, I guess, like Lewis's. The Red Bull car is dog shite. 10 out of 10, please keep an RB. It's good that France have 2 F1 quality drivers. 2? Who? Hadja and Gasly or Hadja and Ocon? I guess all 3 are pretty good. Well, I don't rate Ocon, but he always is on and off now. He's an incredible driver, soon to be in one of the top teams, you reckon? Hope your hairline doesn't end up like this. Yeah, let's pray. Let's pray. All right. Majority of you guys saying 10 as well. Beautiful. Deserved for Hadja. All right. I think this is probably going to be the most controversial or like spread vote of the day. What do you rate, Nick? What do you rate Lewis Hamilton's Monaco Grand Prix weekend? Oh, what a tune. What a tune. So, Lewis, in qualifying, he qualified P4. He outqualified Max Verstappen and Yuki Tsunoda and the Williams and, you know. But at the same time, Leclerc was up in P2. He was 3/10 off of his teammate, which isn't amazing. Just like I said with Kimi Antonelli, being 3/10 off your teammate isn't great, especially at a track like this that is really short. You know, he's lucky that Max made a mistake on his lap because otherwise, you know, he would have been starting behind Max. He did end up getting a 3-place grid penalty, which wasn't his fault at all, but obviously we're just purely looking at performance here. So yeah, 3/10 off your teammate. At the end of the day, still qualified P4. Like I said, at a track like Monaco, it's so tight. If he was genuinely bad, he would have qualified much lower. But he made it through to Q3 and he put the lap together. So yeah, I'd say just like an above. I'd say an average qualifying from Lewis, considering where Charles qualified. And then in the race, he finished P5. Now, I was really disappointed in Lewis's race. Now, look, I haven't watched every single lap on board of Lewis's race, but my understanding of Lewis's race is his pace was so poor at the end of the race. Yes, there's traffic, but he wasn't behind a car. He wasn't stuck behind a car. His race pace was so poor that Max was able to go long on used tires while stuck behind people, and also dealing with that same traffic, and was able to jump Lewis. So I think Lewis was, 50 seconds. He finished 50 seconds behind his teammate. He got jumped by Max because of his pace. I was really, really disappointed in Lewis's weekend. Now, obviously, he didn't jump Isaac Hadja, though, so that's a dub. Where did Lewis jump Hadja, actually? Was that in the pits? Was that from pace? Was that from luck with the strategy? How did Lewis actually jump Hadja? Or is that just purely because, oh, well, the car's quicker, so yeah. I'm not sure you'd call it a jump when Max was ahead the whole race. Yeah, but wait. Wait, what do you mean a jump? Oh, sorry, I get what you're saying, because Max started ahead of him. No, but what I mean is, like, Max's strategy was, I'm just going to go long and pray. Like, I'd rather lose one position to Lewis and just pray I get a safety car, red flag. But Lewis put absolutely no pressure on Max that Max ended up benefiting from it and finishing P4. Hadja first stint. They went long. Yeah, so I guess that's, you know, you can give props to Lewis for that, I guess. He was able to outpace Hadja, but I think at the end of the day, that's expected in a Ferrari, so it's nothing too crazy. Look, I think at the end of the day, Lewis has done a good job for Monaco. When you look at how, like, Yuki did and how the Mercedes did and how I think the Williams did on not capitalizing on their weekend, I think Lewis has done a good job, but I don't think it's that standoutish. So I'm going to give Lewis a 6.5, I think. I think that race pace wasn't great. Great result, but I don't think his performance was that great. Ferrari only left him with one set of new softs in Q3. Yeah, that was annoying, to be fair. How's it going, Grey Boy? But still, he did have one lap. Pace wasn't there. Only Charles can make the Ferrari look fast. What do you think of the Mercedes strategy? We spoke about it before. I feel like they didn't even have a strategy. Their strategy was just go out on track, see what happens, and then complain about it. High rating if you could have helped Charles like Oscar. Yeah, true. Based on what you said, thought you'd rate lower. Yeah, then I thought about it, and I was like, rating him lower than the Williams and the Saubers just wouldn't make sense. So I think 6.5. I think it's more just because some people are like, Lewis did well, and it's like, did he? Or like I don't think some people realize how much of a fumble it is that he finished behind Max. Just like what he did to Hadja, Max basically did to him. So yeah. Anyways, majority of you guys saying 6, so we actually agree. Okay. I didn't expect that. All right, move on to the top 4 now. Next up, we've got my boy Max Verstappen. This is gonna be an interesting one as well. What do you guys rate Max Verstappen's weekend? Get your votes in on the poll. So in qualifying, Max Verstappen, he got P5. Look, qualifying is where it matters, and he made a mistake. He wasn't even in the fight for pole. It wasn't even in the fight for P4, let alone the fight for pole. He was 7/10 off of pole, actually, which is, I think, very disappointing for Max in a Red Bull. Yeah, Max's standards, but still, I think Red Bull was looking good this whole weekend. I think they maybe could have got pole, maybe. I think, considering how well Lando did, I don't think it was possible in the end. But to be 7/10 off, I don't think is great. And he shouldn't have been out-qualified by Lewis. I think he probably would have finished behind Lewis if it wasn't for Lewis's... well, I was going to say Lewis's grid pen, but it's a combination of Lewis's grid pen and Lewis's pace. He was only 3/10 ahead of Hadjar, which I don't think should be happening either. So, yeah, I think it was a pretty poor qualifying from Max. Obviously, he's out-qualified Yuki by... 6/10, but I think by now we know that that's expected. Yeah, I think P5 is just average for Max. I think it's just average. Like, he could have done better, but he could have done worse. So yeah, I think P5 is where the Red Bull should be, but then again, he made a mistake on his lap, which we can't ignore. So yeah, then in the race, not his fault. He's on a really weird strategy, but he made it work. His race pace was amazing. He was able to jump Lewis. So, yeah. I don't know. I don't know what to rate Max, man. I don't know what to rate Max. Anonymous, thank you for the $1 tip. No message or TTS. Thank you. I appreciate it, Anonymous. Thank you, whoever that was. Appreciate you donating. I don't know what to rate Max. I feel like he had a poor qualifying, but he qualified where you'd expect, and I feel like his race was good, and he finished better than what he should have. What do I rate Lewis? 6.5. Maybe I give Max a 7. Maybe a 7.5. 7.5. Let me read what you guys have to say, and then I'll decide. If you ever got close to Max's pit window, they would have just pit Max. Yeah, exactly. Max had no pressure, so... probably ended up ahead of where he should have been, but nothing outstanding. Yeah. It's 7.5, honestly, but can't rate that. It's like 7.5. I give him that. Honestly, I think Red Bull screwed him over the final lap. He didn't jump Lewis. He started in front and stayed in front. Yeah, but he still had the pace to do that. What's up, Formula 1 2A? We're on the stream. He's still way better than the same. Yeah, you know what? I'll go 7.5 then. I'll go 7.5 then. I think he should have done better in qualifying, but thankfully it didn't cost him. So, yeah, 7 is valid for his mistake in qualifying. Yeah. All right. Majority of you guys saying 8. I feel like 8's a bit too high personally, but I'll take it. All right. We move on to the top 3. It is Oscar Piastri to begin with. Get your votes in for Oscar Piastri. What do you rate Oscar Piastri's weekend out of 10? For people just tuning on in, how you vote, all you have to do is type in Twitch chat what you rate out of 10. Type the number in chat. If you're watching over on YouTube, come over to Twitch and type your rating in chat. That's all y'all gotta do. Don't bring me down. Whoosh. Okay, sorry. I was just looking at something. So Oscar, he qualified P3. He was 2/10 behind his teammate. He got outqualified by Charles. He got outqualified by Charles Leclerc, but he did outqualify Lewis Hamilton, Max Verstappen. Yeah, look, I think when you've got the opportunity to get pole and you miss out on it by 2/10 and someone else outqualifies you, I think that is a bit of a disappointment. I don't think it's terrible. I think some people are probably going to watch this and be like, you gave Lando a low rating for qualifying P3, but they're at normal tracks. They're at standard tracks. For some reason this weekend, it really only felt like McLaren and Leclerc in the fight. I mean, no, if I'm being honest, it wasn't great from Piastri, and I think he'll admit as well, he didn't have a great performance. Like, yeah, P3 is great, but yeah, you know, I think we know Lewis isn't that great at the moment. So our qualifying him is not that special. And Max made a mistake. So, Piastri's done good not to make a mistake. But yeah, he's got out-qualified by Charles. He's been out-qualified by his teammate by 2/10. So definitely not a great qualifying, but not bad. And then the race, he's finished P3, right behind Charles and Lando. If I'm being honest, Lando's pace was amazing. Piastri was, if I have a look actually at the race differences before they caught up at the end. So before Max started backing up Norris, he was 13 seconds. No, sorry. 10 seconds behind Norris. That's not too bad, to be honest. That's not too bad, given traffic and everything that comes into play. Yeah, I don't really know what to rate Piastri, to be honest. I feel like Max's race pace allowed him to finish ahead of Lewis. Piastri couldn't really... I don't know. I guess we just rate off of qualifying. Is it maybe the same as Max? Oh, is that too high, though, for someone who qualified P3 in a pole-capable car? I don't know. Because I feel like rating him higher than Max is weird, but then again... What? I don't know. This weekend could have been a disaster if Q3 was competitive. He got lucky. That's what I mean. It's a weird one because I thought qualifying was going to be so tight to the point where like Hadja could out-qualify Max because Max made a mistake, but it just didn't end up happening. McLaren has much better traction than Ferrari. Piastri should have been at least P2. Could have gone pole, but Def should have been ahead of Charles. 6 average, but it hits a wall a couple times. Okay, we could my boy Oscar, and he was really comfortable. He was really comfortable all weekend. I don't think he was comfortable, to be honest. He struggled in practice. He struggled in quali. He made one mistake in the race. I feel if the championship leader came third and his Landers this Max, you would rate them lower. It's just my view. It's something else about Piastri that makes you think it's better. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just... I think at a normal weekend, I'd say this is a disappointing from Piastri, but he also just like... My point is like, it's a disappointing qualifying. Actually, you're right. I was going to say, I think the reason why I've given Oscar a high rating is because he can't redeem himself. But no one can redeem himself in Monaco. You need to have a good qualifying. So I think, yeah, given the fact that he could have gone for pole, I'm going to say maybe 6.5. I think I gave Lewis 6.5 as well, right? So I guess that makes sense for the driver finishing behind their teammate. I guess the difference between Lewis and Piastri is Piastri actually had good race pace. Maybe I'll lower Lewis down to a 6. Maybe lowering Lewis down to a 6 would be better. And then maybe lowering Max down to a 7. I don't know. It's hard. It gets fucky when you start comparing everyone. Max could have jumped Oscar with the pits, but Red Bull chose to go long. Oh, okay. Interesting. All right. Oh, you meant to say uncomfortable. I see. All right. Majority of you guys saying 7 for Piastri. I think that's fair. All right, we move on to Charles Leclerc. What do you rate Charles' weekend out of 10? Look, I think Charles has had a phenomenal weekend. It's actually crazy that Leclerc is coming away disappointed because he didn't get the win. I guarantee you, if this wasn't his home Grand Prix, he's happy with that result. I guarantee you, if it wasn't Monaco / it wasn't his home Grand Prix. When I say Monaco, I mean like a street circuit where qualifying is important. And it wasn't his home Grand Prix. I think he'd be very, very happy. But he admitted that he probably could have got pole and he just missed out. And I also think his race start was good. I'm just disappointed he didn't go for it around the outside. But I'm not going to deduct him too much from that. Yeah, I think Charles had an amazing weekend. P2, outqualified his teammate by 3/10, outqualified Max Verstappen and Oscar Piastri. And then in the race, he's managed to hold on to P2. I feel like McLaren probably could have done something, having the two drivers together. They probably could have done something to, wait. Was it, wait, no, probably not. I was going to say, was there ever a gap for Lando to hold up Charles to let Piastri pit, catch up, and then Piastri would take the lead, and then they could swap, and then they'd finish 1-2? Or was that, like, never on the cards? Anyways, Charles did a great job of being able to hang on to P2 in the race, despite the McLaren starting ahead of him. So I think I'm going to give Charles a 9.5, to be honest. I think 0.5 just because he maybe could have got pole, but it would have been very hard. I actually, you know what? If I'm being honest, The only way Leclerc gets pole is if Lando doesn't have as great of a lap as he did. And then in the race, again, I think McLaren have better race pace. I don't know. I feel like Charles, honestly, I think Charles is on the verge of 10. I think in terms of like, this is going to contradict myself because I do performance ratings. I think in terms of performance, he's a 10. Like, he did everything he could. But I just think because the fact that he probably could have gotten pole is not a 10. It would have opened up an undercut for Leclerc, so he could undercut Norris. True. Norris wouldn't have done that anyway. Why help his title over? Yeah, true. I don't think McLaren would try a swap for the win ever again. Yeah, true. He got provisional pole. He did say he thought Norris was in the wall turn 1, so probably try to avoid it. Yeah. In the end, McLaren showed they had pace in quali. I think Leclerc got the maximum. Yeah, I'm going to go 9.5 for Leclerc. I think it's almost max. 10 would have just been if he actually would have done it, but... yeah, he said himself he could have got the pole, so 9.5. Yeah, true. All right, 9.5 for Leclerc. That leaves. Actually, what's your guys' thing on the poll? 9. Majority of you guys saying 9. All right, that leaves one driver, man of the. Well, I'd say Hedges man of the weekend. Still, his first time winning in Monaco. We've got Lando Norris. The poll is up. Get your votes in. I think it's a pretty simple one, right? It's the way Monaco is. In qualifying, he got P1. And like I said, I think Charles has done an absolutely banging lap. And Lando has responded with a perfect lap. Track record into the 9s at Monaco. He absolutely smashed it. He outqualified his teammate by 2/10. He outqualified Lewis. He outqualified Max. And again, Charles, who I think did an amazing lap. Yeah, it was amazing. Then in the race, he was flawless other than the first corner. He had a bad start and he locked up, but he held on. You know, obviously there's the argument if the straight was longer, if the track was different, he probably wouldn't have hang on. So part of me is like, you know, you're taking the 2023 Max Verstappen logic. You're going to have a 9.5 for making a mistake. But no, he obviously makes up for that by having a perfect fucking insane qualifying. Like, yes, he made a mistake turn 1, but it's irrelevant when your qualifying is that fucking good. It allows you to make a mistake off the start and still finish P1 at Monaco. Yeah. Imagine Lando locked up and crashed into the wall. Oh. After what an amazing week. Well, after amazing qualifying he had. But yeah, absolutely insane qualifying lap. Might be his best qualifying lap in the sport, to be honest. And yeah, I'm giving Lando a 10. P1 at Monaco when it mattered. And I think, you know, ignoring ratings for a second, like everyone, including myself, has been criticizing him for the last year, I'd say, basically since this point last year, has been criticizing him for not being able to maximize whether it's mistakes or qualifying or race. A lot, to be honest, last year was more on McLaren as a team, but specifically this year, there's been a lot of criticism. A lot of people hating. I think there's been a lot of pressure around him. You can see it as well, building up. Now he's got Oscar as his teammate, pushing him to the max. And we come to the most confident, the track that you need the most confidence for. And he proved basically us all wrong. Now, obviously, a one-off doesn't mean anything. Like, he needs to do this now consistently. I'm not saying every single race in qualifying he needs to out-qualify Piastri and beat Piastri. Absolutely not, no. But he needs to... Qualifying is like this, where we go, wow, Lando, wow. I want to see that because we see it from Piastri, we see it from Charles, we see it from Max. It's very rare that we sit here and go, wow, Lando, wow. It's always like, oh yeah, he got pole, nice, he should have got pole. So yeah, it was one of those weekends that I want to see more of from Lando, and I think if he keeps this up, the champion, even if Max isn't in the fight, I think this championship is very spicy between him and Piastri if he keeps this up. So yeah, a much deserved 10 for Lando. What are you guys saying? Majority of you guys saying 10 as well. So what was that? 3 10s in the end. Lando Ross, Isaac Kadja, Esteban Ocon. Awesome weekend from them 3. Again, it's easy to get a 10 at a track where there's no overtaking and like whatever, but that's just the way Monaco is. So yeah. Anyways, guys, that wraps up the Monaco Grand Prix driver ratings. If you enjoyed, hit the follow button down below. Thank you all for joining me. We do this every single Monday after a Grand Prix weekend. We hop on, we look at the highlights, we look at the drivers' reactions, look through Discord, F1 Fantasy, F1 Predict, and then end with the driver ratings. So if you enjoyed, hit the follow button down below. We will do this again on Monday after Spain. So be sure to tune on in for that. Yeah, whatever I miss in chat before I wrap one up. I would say Oscar and the Claire 7 or 7.5 as well. Wait, the Claire 7? Bye, Ponden. See you next time. Catch you later, Wolfgang. I disagree. Piastri never has those types of laps. Really? Azerbaijan was an outstanding performance. There's a couple times I've seen Piastri this year have great laps, personally. Kind of unrelated, but Adami genuinely pisses me off. Like, his driver asks him a question and he says something completely unrelated. Like, answer the question, bro. Did this with signs as well. Yeah, I agree. It's both Ferrari engineers. You know, they just need to be quick and concise. It's too much waffle, you know? Like, I come from Counter-Strike, and in Counter-Strike, you need to keep your words to a minimum. And Formula 1 is way more intense and quick. And sometimes the engineers just absolutely waffle on the radio. Like, they should just be like, strat 3 on the wheel. But instead they're like, okay, Lando, I'm going to need you to go on to strat 3, please. Strat 3, please. It's like, wrap it up, man. Wrap it up. Holy shit. Amazing work from Lando. Awesome weekend for our boy. Let's go. Can't wait for Spain. Praying for the McLaren downfall. Yeah, but it will be interesting to see how the technical directive plays out this week. You know, I think we've had 3 very different weekends. We had Imola, where it's like, oh, Red Bull's back. Monaco, and then we've got the Spain technical directive. So it's going to be interesting. 11 for Lando hater. My soul walls in pain, but it's a 10 for Lando. He said himself he could have got pole. Oh, that was about the clear, I see. All right, guys, that's it. Thank you for watching YouTube. I'm going to end the stream there. Be sure to come over to Twitch. We're always live on the Twitch channel, so come join us. Otherwise, YouTube gang, I'll see you guys on Friday for practice 1.